guys, so I wanted to do another review for you guys today of a product that I used all through 2017 and for the last month of 2016 in my lawn care business. And that is the SureCan gas can. Now, just a disclaimer, SureCan did send this gas can out to me. They sent me 2 of these 2.2 gallon gas cans for me to use and review in my own lawn care business. I've only been using one of them all this time for my straight gas fuel for my mowers. The second originally was intended to use for my mixed fuel, but I still haven't gotten around to using it. I just prefer using smaller gas cans for my mixed fuel, like 1 gallon size. So I haven't quite used this one yet. With the SureCan, it's been a pretty fantastic gas can all around compared to the older traditional styles that I've been using for the past 12 years or so. You know, I'd always have issues with spills, messing around with the nozzles. I'd try a bunch of different gizmo type nozzles to make it easier and incorporate some sort of a spout. But there was always issues when you're trying to turn or flip over the gas can and trying to get it into the tank that you're trying to fill without spilling and such. So with the SureCan, as you can see, it's got this kind of an unconventional design. You've got your main cap at the back for filling up the SureCan, and then it's got the spout down along the front side here with a pill bottle style cap on it. So this pill bottle style cap on it, you basically squeeze and turn to pull off exactly like you would on a pill bottle. So then you have this articulating spout here. It's got a little indentation in the can to hold it in place here. As you can see, you can kind of click it into place so it's always secure when you're traveling. But anyways, you pull it open. It's got a bit of flexibility here. But when you're filling, a gas can, you can basically bend that into your spout, and you can turn that and have it directed into any direction. If you're filling a can like that, you're going up somewhere high. It gives you a lot of versatility in the actual application of the unit. Now, with the nozzle being here at the bottom, you'd think, is it going to spill? Doesn't the gas just free flow out of it? It doesn't, because it incorporates this locking sort of trigger mechanism here for your thumb. Now this one here is locked with a strap because, like I said, I haven't used it yet. So let's take the strap off and then I'll show you how it works. Okay, so you can see I took the locking little zip tie strap that comes with it when you buy or purchase the SureCan, and you can see that the trigger now is in an upper or higher position. This actually locks the fuel. It's connected when you look inside the SureCan. It's actually connected down here at the bottom of the spout. Controlling the fuel happens down right here at the bottom of this spout here. So as you can see here, the trigger is now in the upwards position, in the locked position. If I try to press it down, it doesn't go down because it's got this little thumb trigger that you can see connected right here. So that has to be released first, and it's simply just by pressing it that you can see that it gets released. So in one motion with your thumb, you would press that trigger, release it, and then you're able to push down to release the fuel and regulate. So the farther you squeeze down on this trigger, the more fuel comes out, or the quicker it comes out. The less you let go, it sort of comes out slower. And of course, if you let go of the unit, then the fuel will stop. Now, one thing to remember with this unit is that this, of course, spout is completely hollow on the inside, and this can hold quite a bit of fuel on its own. So when you have this in the downward position and you're filling a piece of equipment, you have to remember that the stopper mechanism is at this point up here. So you want to be careful that you're not filling your fuel tanks right up till they're full and then letting go of the trigger, expecting the fuel to automatically stop. Because what happens is once you let go here, it stops the fuel at this point, but you still have all of the fuel that's in this spout here that will still come out with gravity, and you'll have a overspill or overfill your unit. So you have to watch where you're filling up to, and when you get to that sort of 3/4 mark or so, depending on the size of your fuel tank. Of course, on a bigger machine, it's a lot easier with a bigger spout. On a smaller machine with a small little opening for your fuel tank, it's a bit more difficult to do, and it happens a lot quicker, so you have to be more mindful of this. So basically what you're going to do is once you get your trigger and you start releasing the trigger, once you get to that spot where you think it's going to overspill, or close to overspilling, you're going to let go and lock it, and then just let the rest of the fuel flow out of the tube. So I'm going to actually take this unit, since it's brand new, I'm going to fill it with some water and then get a glass and give you guys a demonstration on what I mean by this. All right. Okay, so I filled the Shurcan up with water, and as you can see, another nice feature of it is that it's quite translucent. So as I slosh it around, you can easily see how much fuel you would have left. There's no other sight windows or white sort of clear areas on the Shurcan, but it's more than translucent enough to let you see all that fuel. So I'm just going to do a demonstration and show you with water how this would work and how the trigger affects the flow. So just to recap, the trigger is here to stop the flow, but it stops it down. At this point, you still have the articulating spout that will still have fuel in it after you release, and you have to keep in mind of that when you're filling up your fuel. So I'll just release that beforehand so I can do this sort of single-handedly. So as I go into the cup here, and you can see I'm ready to depress the trigger. So as it's filling, as soon as I let go, so you see you still get a bit of fuel. So what you don't want to do, like I say, is get right to the top. And as you can see, you still get fuel coming out, and on a small piece of equipment, that can cause a spill. But you can see it's not tons and tons of fuel that comes out, but it still is a little bit that comes out as soon as that's released. So you just want to be mindful of that. Okay, so have I had any issues with the Shurcan over the course of the year using it? On the actual unit, now this is the one that I've been using over a year. You can see that it's quite a bit dirtier and scratched up. And one thing you'll notice here up front is that pill bottle sort of cap, after a few months, it just completely came off. So the little tether that kind of holds the cap in place. So the inner part of the cap is still on there, and to remove that, it's just simply a screw type top. So normally you would require with the pill top, you'd have to squeeze this pill top or push down on it like a pill bottle to be able to remove it, and it would grip these little sort of indentations on the top to take the cap off. Now without that, it's easier to take off the cap because you don't have to squeeze it, but you have to be mindful of where you put it so that you don't lose it because it's now not tethered to the actual Shurcan itself. So that's the only real issue I have had with this particular unit, using it every day in my lawn care business over the past year, and going into the preceding season before that. Absolutely no issues with fuel leaking from the valve area. That was probably my biggest concern going to this style of gas can, thinking that in transport in the back of the truck and stuff, normally your All of your openings on your gas cans are at the top, so obviously there's no worries with gravity if a cap comes loose or anything like that. With this, I worried that fuel would start to spill out of this area here. I've never had an issue with any fuel leakage or spillage coming from that valve there. Like I say, the only issue in total has been just this little pill cap cover coming off of the actual cap. Now, because this sits in an upwards position, it's important to keep the cap on it because you don't want dust and stuff to get in there and sit in there. It's not sort of like in the downward position or anything like that. So you want to make sure that that's covered so that you don't get debris and stuff eventually into your motors. So in closing, I would absolutely have no issues recommending the SureCan to a lawn care business or to anybody for that matter. Like I say, it's performed flawlessly as far as the fuel delivery goes, as far as any issues with the can itself other than that little pill bottle cap coming off. But it has been so much more convenient in filling the tools, having that articulating spout. It is just been a fantastic tool to have in the arsenal of tools in a lawn care business. So I'll put a link in the description to the SureCan on Amazon, the 2.2 gallon here that I've tested. If you're interested, you can take a look at it as well. And if you're also interested in podcast t-shirts, this is a new design that I just put out. If you're interested in that as well, I'll put a link in the description to that. If you want to support the podcast and support the channel, purchasing a t-shirt is another great way to do so. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button. And of course, I'd appreciate if you consider subscribing. That just lets me know that you're into the content that I'm creating, and I'll keep producing videos like this to go along, of course, with the weekly podcast. If you haven't checked out the podcast, you're new to this channel, there's a podcast every Tuesday on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Google Play. So that's it for this video. If you have any comments about the SureCan, your past experiences, or what you currently use in your lawn care business, leave a comment in the description down there below and let me know what type of gas can you prefer in your lawn care business. So that's it for this one. Here's to wishing you guys all overwhelming success and freedom in your lawn care business. Bye for now.